What is up, you guys? Thank you very much for hitting play on this video. It's been a month. We have had our RadRunner Plus bikes from radpowerbikes for a month. I have put 300 kilometers on my bike and it's been pretty good. It hasn't been perfect, but it's been pretty good. And I'm going to talk in detail about all the different things and all the different components and some of the accessories that we've actually added to our bikes. But before we do that, and before I can actually put that together, I wanted to make a shorter video, go over some of the high level stuff, what I've definitely noticed in the first month and the first 300 kilometers. And then also put together a short video for you guys to kind of see what this bike looks like on the road, because I know there isn't a ton of them out there. And for some of you that are thinking about buying one, I know seeing what it actually looks like on the road is an important part of that. So I hope you like this video. All right, so like I said, it's been a month, and I'm going to do a really in-depth video and actually go over the bike and all of the accessories, because that's one of the good things about this bike is the amount of accessories that you can actually add to it. We have two of the RadRunner Pluses, and they're actually dressed up completely different. One is much more of a his and another one is much more of a hers type bike, and I think that's one of the big sells for this bike. So I am going to put together that video, but the reality is, to put together that video and all of the links the way I know you all will expect, it takes some time. So I'm going to put that together. But before I put that together, I wanted to talk to all of you about the bike and how it's run so far, how both of our bikes have run so far. I'm at 300 kilometers. I think Steph is about at 225. I'm not saying nothing, just, you know, I've got more time on my hands and I've been able to get out there more. And they've been really good. Overall, they've been really good. One of the big things that I will say before I would say anything else is ordering these bikes online and not having a Rad Power Bike store nearby definitely adds a layer of struggle to this. If you've got a lot of experience making bikes or putting together bikes, then maybe you'll have no problem with this. And I had, put together bikes when I was in high school, some BMXs and a couple mountain bikes, that kind of thing. But when it comes down to the fine tuning, it is tough, especially if it's your first time with an e-bike, to really calibrate the bike in a way that it's riding rad, I guess, if you want to use that phrase. I don't know if saying rad is cool anymore, but anyways, I digress. One of the biggest things that I would say is, if you're thinking about buying this bike, think about whether or not you have a Rad Power store or Rad Power Bike store in your town. And if you do, I think you should go for it all day long. If you don't, then maybe try to search for some local e-bike mechanics or some e-bike shops or some bike shops that actually will work on e-bikes before you purchase, so that you know that they're going to be able to work on your RadRunner Plus. Because at 300 kilometers, I know it's time for a tune-up for myself, and it's not super easy to find a shop that is willing to work on them. That's that. Okay, so like I said, overall, really good. I haven't had any major issues. One of the things that I will say is both of our brakes, when we first got them, were really, really noisy. And from going to a bunch of forums, what I actually found, or what the folks on the forum said, is when they pumped these bikes out, they had to pump them out so quickly that some steps were skipped, maybe that they would do before. I don't know if that's true or not. Hey, that's what I read. Maybe it's fake news, but regardless, I had to bed the brakes on both the bikes several times, and it was my first time bedding brakes. So it did take going to YouTube, and it did take kind of some learning. And there is that feeling of kind of teaching yourself how to bed brakes on your brand new bike that cost you a pretty penny is a little stressful. Like I said, finding a shop is a good idea. That, and also we had a small problem with Steph's bike where one of the cable, the adapters where the actual two cables came together, came loose, and it was actually behind some Velcro pieces. And so all of a sudden her bike wouldn't start. We switched batteries. My bike was working with both batteries, so we figured out that it was a cable, and once we found the cable, we attached it. No problem since that. So kind of those small things. As far as riding it on the road, really, really good. These things are really smooth, and I would definitely recommend them as a way to trick people that you're actually riding a bike while not really riding a bike, but kind of riding a bike. Up hills. I always get asked the question, do you need to pedal up hills? Yes, you do need to pedal up hills. It does not have enough power to just throttle your way all the way up a hill. However, it gives you a whole lot of help. And I think that's something that actually I have found for me that has been a great help, because I'm just willing to go, pardon my pun, but I'm willing to go the extra mile and go a lot further in distance, because when I think about the hills that I'm going to have to go over, and just for FYI, I live in Vancouver and I live on the bottom of one side of the hill. So to get everywhere, I have to go over that hill. And it is one of those things that if I didn't have that pedal assist, I don't know if I would go to places like Stanley Park, or English Bay, or Science World, or UBC. All of these great places that are really awesome to get to when you're on your bike, but perhaps without that pedal assist, it just seems like too much work or too daunting, or if you get there, you don't know if you're going to get back, all of those things. Range. So the range that I have found, and again, I do live in an area that is pretty hilly, is I have found that the range is between 50 to 60 kilometers, and I'm usually on pedal assist number 2 or 3. So I think, the range will range depending on what kind of ground you're riding on, how much effort you're actually putting into it, and how many and the hills that you're on. So that is what I have found is the actual range for myself. Of course, that's just for me. I obviously don't like to try that hard. I'm like a moderate try hard person. So that's been my range. But anyways, enough about all that. Like I said, I'm going to do a more in-depth review. Please subscribe if you want to get notice when that video drops. Here is some short clips, a little bit of a montage, if you will, of the video, of the bike, and of us riding it around Vancouver. Enjoy.